Hello and welcome to the Justice Factor. The economic freedom fighters are a dangerous cancer trying to smash parliament. These are the words of SA Communist Party leader Bladin Zimande. EFF members disrupted the president's question and answer session last week, chanting that President Jacob Zuma must pay back the taxpayers' money used to upgrade his Nkandla homestead. My guest today is EFF leader Julius Malema. After that discussion, we'll give you a winner and loser of the week. But first, let's take a quick look at the week's top stories with Mail and Guardian Deputy Editor Moshoeshoe Monare. Moshoeshoe, welcome to the show. The big story is my guest after you, Julius Malema, and the disruption in Parliament. What did you think of the ANC response to the disruption and the fact that, in particular, I want to ask you about Gwede Mantashe and the fact that he says the police should have moved in, they should have taken control and so forth and so forth.
Look, the response is really disturbing, and especially when people like ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe doesn't understand the Constitution and the separation of powers principle, which is the tenets of our Constitution. For example, he accused the police of not acting because they are in the Western Cape. Our police structure is such that the National Police Commissioner has the command and control of the whole police. But secondly, for him to even suggest that police must deal with members of parliament, these people are, members of economic freedom fighters, but they were members of parliament. It's the legislature which is one of the key institutions and branch of our government. And there has to be that kind of separation. And secondly, but with the EFF as well, that they must also understand that in dealing with an individual, such as President Jacob Zuma, to push him to account and to push him to pay back the money, they must realize that they mustn't degrade or denigrate or destroy our institutions to a point that beyond Zuma, there will just be this chaos and anarchy in Parliament.
I want to come back to the Gwede Mantashe point, but I want to ask you directly about what you're saying now. Do you think what happened on Thursday has damaged the integrity, the standing of Parliament in South Africa?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we need to be cautious that you do not destroy or damage the integrity and credibility of Parliament beyond the individual.
Does robust debate and taking on leaders like that have the potential of doing that? And we've seen the EFF in Gauteng and so forth.
It's a good thing in a sense that for a long time the executive, even under Thabo Mbeki, the executive in this country will just treat Parliament as one of those irritating houses where the president like Mbeki or even Zuma will come and say, yes, this is my answer. And sometimes they will not even want to answer to members of Parliament. And you have a situation where the Speaker of the Legislature, or the Speaker of the National Assembly, protecting the executive, whereas she is supposed to be saying, hey, you need to account to the people of South Africa through this House. So it's a good thing that for the first time, the ANC, President Jacob Zuma, will realize that you will not go to Parliament and just say, this is my answer and I'm getting away with it. Someone will say, we want that answer. But at the same time, I was just cautioning to say, you don't want to destroy the dignity of that institution, that beyond Zuma, you won't have any Parliament.
Yeah. When you look at the Speaker's handling of the whole thing, do you think that she could have done better? Was she protecting President Zuma? Was she shielding him from actually answering the key question that Julius Malema asked? When are you paying back the money?
To me, it's not even about that. It's about that culture which has really been, we have seen it under President Thabo Mbeki, where the Speaker of the National Assembly doesn't see her role as the leader of legislature, in contrast to the leader of the executive. Politically, if you think about it, the leader of the legislature must, be at an equal footing with the president, because she is supposed to make the executive to account. And in some instances, like on Thursday, we have seen where the leader of the legislature, the Speaker of the National Assembly, was really making it very, very hard for the president to account, which led to the erections that we saw, which were unnecessary.
There was a point when Gwede Mantashe responded to these issues and said, no, now we must move Parliament to Gauteng because it's in the Western Cape and the police are run by the opposition and so forth, which was quite extraordinary statement. But I had a sense of those emails by Cyril Ramaphosa to the police ministry and so forth before Marikana that take concomitant action. It sounded like he was saying, go in there and shoot them.
Like I said, that's nonsense for ANC Secretary General to really think that you need to move the legislature in order not to make the executive to account. I'm just saying that sometimes we really have to pause to say, hey, we are talking about, and the police, remember, are under the control of the executive. And as a result, there has to be that kind of separation of powers. I mean, for him to even think that the police must take actions against members of parliament, there may be EFF people, there may be, we might call them anarchists and those kind of things, but they are members of parliament. They were duly elected by South Africans. And it's something that we need to really respect. Because going back, remember how parliament was used by the National Party to be this, sovereign institution which, no court can review their actions, no court can review their racist legislation. And I don't want a situation where we go back there. And it's so ironic for someone like Mantashe to say that, because when after Polokwane ANC conference, he was the one, when the legislature and executive were under Thabo Mbeki's faction, so he was the one to say MPs must be robust, must really ask questions and whatever. Well, now he doesn't suit him.
Much of that on Thursday. Moshoeshoe Monare, thanks so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
When we return, EFF leader Julius Malema joins us.
News that moves. ENCA.com.